Hey there folks, today I'm going to talk about a really important topic for kayak anglers that enjoy going out and kayaking in the wintertime. This is especially pertinent to those kayak anglers that live in the colder climates here in the United States and Canada, where we have the potential to be exposed to lethal cold waters. So hypothermia is a real threat to us when we go out. So I wanted to talk about one of the biggest investments that a kayak angler can make besides the kayak itself, and that is immersion gear. So today I'm going to cover 4 different dry suits. I have 2 of them on hand, and then 2 of them I'm going to talk about that I don't have on hand. And sort of the features that I like about them, the features that I don't like about them, the relative price, and just kind of give you a comparison to start with when you're shopping and what to look for when shopping for a dry suit. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the one I've been using for several years. This is the Kayak Supernova Hydrus semi-dry suit. Now they call it a semi-dry suit because it has one very different feature from traditional dry suits, and that is it has a neoprene rather than latex gasket. So neoprene is far more comfortable around the neck than latex. It's also a lot more durable. Latex dries out, cracks, and gets more brittle more quickly than neoprene. But you know, we're not whitewater kayak fishing. We don't expect to go into the water most days. I've only flipped my kayak a couple times in the surf, but I always want to be prepared for that eventuality that I might fall in cold water, and I want to increase my ability to survive and self-rescue when I'm out there. And a dry suit gives me that comfort. Not only that, a dry suit also keeps me nice and warm and dry in tough winter fishing conditions like rain and snow and things like that. So it has that added benefit as well. So this is a complete one-piece dry suit with front entry. So it has a waterproof zipper that I can use to get in and out. The front entry is a little bit easier for a lot of people to get in and out of. Like I said, it has a neoprene gasket. But here around the wrists, I actually have a latex gasket, and that makes sense. You're reaching down in the water to pull fish out, grab them by the lip or netting or whatever. This prevents water from moving up inside the dry suit and soaking whatever layering you have on underneath. In addition to that, it has Velcro around the wrists to help snug up with neoprene. It has the same thing around the ankles. It also has socks that I'm wearing underneath these booties, so your feet stay perfectly dry. You can put a couple layers of socks on down there to keep your feet nice and dry, and then it has a neoprene Velcro over the booties as well to sort of maximize the capture of dry air and stop from water getting in there and soaking up. It has a waistband here to tighten up around the waist, and it has the same thing on the back of the neck so you can tighten up around the neck and get that right amount of tension for you that's not too comfortable but will help keep water out if you fell into the water. Now, it has a relief zipper, which I find to be really important because if you're out there and you have to take off your whole immersion suit just to go to the bathroom, it's kind of defeats the purpose, especially in a kayak. It can be really challenging to do that. Having that relief zipper is really nice. Just always make sure that you really tighten that thing up. It's a common mistake that guys don't tighten their relief zippers up enough, and then they go in the water and their dry suit fills with water, and it becomes more of an impediment to self-rescue than assisting you. The material that this is made out of is their Hydrus material, which is a waterproof 3-layer material, and they've reinforced key areas with thin layers of Cordura around the elbows, on the knees, and on the butt as well. That being said, this is the second Kayak Hydrus dry suit that I've owned. The first one lasted a little over 2 years before it needed extreme repairs. And even though they have a lifetime warranty, they decided they would not repair it because of excessive use. After some debate with them, I was able to convince them that a lifetime warranty means a lifetime warranty, and they did actually replace the suit. This is the suit I'm wearing now, and it is less than 2 years old, and I've already had major issues with it in terms of several spot leaks, which, you know, we get exposed to lots of hooks and fins and things like that which do knock holes in it, but also had major holes develop in the feet even though I'm always wearing booties. And I do get sand in there and things like that when I'm fishing in the salt, so it is tough on them. But I've just found the material to not be as durable. This will probably be the last Kokatat dry suit that I will purchase. These retail for about $650, and having to replace that or spend hundreds of dollars on major repairs every 2 years has just been a little too much for me to bear. So I am looking at more alternative and durable ones. Kokatat does have a good reputation for good customer service. I've had mixed experiences with them. For example, I joined their Gold Club, which is an additional $100 a year. It's supposed to allow you to have your dry suits repaired and returned to you within a week. It took them over almost 3 weeks to get my dry suit back to me in my last turnaround, and they never replied to any emails. I always had to call them in order to get any kind of updates on progress. So that being said, a lot of people are very happy with them. They are widely available. The Hydrus material does breathe, but I've found that it doesn't breathe extremely well, so I do get a bit clammy, especially when I'm out fishing on the salt. It's a sunny day. I do start to sweat underneath it quite a bit. They do have a Gore-Tex version, which costs a little bit more, closer to $1,000, which will probably breathe better and might even be a little bit more durable. Okay, so because of the durability issues that I was having with my Kokatat dry suits, I've been looking for an alternative dry suit that has much better durability but equal in comfort. And so for the durability, I started looking into the whitewater community, because those guys are dragging their little kayaks into deep, thorny, scrubby areas full of trees and sticks and stumps and everything, and they really put the wear and tear on their dry suits a lot more than I would say fishermen do. And one of the names that kept cropping up time and time again was Level 6 dry suits, and they have a dry suit called the Emperor. I reached out to them to see if they would let me borrow a dry suit for this video, and they were more than happy to let me do so. They sent it to me within a couple days, and they weren't kidding when they say, this is probably one of the toughest built dry suits I've ever seen. Now it retails for close to $1,000, I think it's about $950. But immediately I was struck by how much thicker and heavier the material is, especially in those key reinforcement areas. When I pick up the material, it feels substantially heavier, much more durable. So, you know, one of the problems I've been having with my Kokatats is they're constantly developing leaks. This seems very difficult to do that. This Cordura panels that are here on the knees, also on the butt, and on the shoulders, and on the elbows. This thing just feels like you could survive a nuclear blast in it. It is so incredibly well built. There's lots of stitching, lots of layers. It just feels like it's a much more durable suit. Now let's look at some of the other features. Now, just like the Kokatat, it's a full dry suit with socks which fit nicely into my NRS booties. I found the sock material to be a little bit heavier as well, which is very encouraging. It's a little less athletic fit to me. There's a little bit more space underneath it, but I don't feel like there's any restriction in movement because of that, but it does feel a little bit bulkier. Unlike the Kokatat, it actually has a full latex gasket neck, because this, after all, is designed more for the whitewater community. So I'd have to stretch that to get that to fit fairly well. Straight out of the box, this is a brand new suit. It actually feels pretty good on my neck. I don't think I'd have any major issues. One of the other nice features of it that I really wish Kokatat had implemented is they have a fleece-lined pocket right here, which is so nice. I can imagine when I'm out kayak fishing or trolling, using my pedal kayak, going from one spot to the other. I have my PFD on. I could slide my hands underneath here, and they would warm up instantly in these fleece pockets. Another thing is I can stuff an extra pair of gloves in there in the wintertime, help dry them out. So that's a really nice feature that I like a lot. It also has neoprene reinforced cuffs with Velcro. Underneath it has the same latex gaskets. It has a relief zipper, and it has a T-handle, which I like a lot better. So my Kokatat had a little fabric ring that you put your finger through. This I can use both fingers. I get a much better seal that way. It feels much better, and it doesn't have a flap over it, so I can look down and actually see that it's zipped all the way. Now, one of the things that this suit does differ dramatically from my Kokatat is that it is a rear entry dry suit, which takes a little bit more effort to get into, I find, but it also makes it really hard to zip up on your own unless you rig something on your car that you can sort of clip the zipper into and then twist your back to get it to zip. Most of the time we're fishing with buddies, you can just have your buddy do it for you, but it is something that I struggle with just trying to do it by myself without having to implement something. Again, this is a 3-layer material that is breathable, and like I said, they have that really strong reinforced areas around the knees, elbows, shoulders, and butt. But feels like a bulletproof dry suit. I can't speak directly to their customer service since I've never actually owned any of their dry suits, but they've been very good about communicating with me on email and addressing some of the questions I had about sizing. And on a lot of the whitewater forums I was looking at, guys said that they were getting 5 to 10 years out of their Emperor dry suits. So, pretty impressive dry suit. I would definitely rank this up there. If you're somebody who's a hardcore kayak fisherman who's had problems with their Kokatat dry suits delaminating, which they frequently do, you might want to look at the Level 6 Emperor as a bulletproof solution that will only cost you a few $100s more than Kokatat and will probably give you a much longer lifespan. Okay, the next dry suit I wanted to talk about was the Gull Dartmouth Men's E-Clip Zip. This is a front entry dry suit that is very budget friendly at only $400. It has Cordura reinforced knees and elbows. It is also a 3-layer breathable material front entry dry suit. What's nice about this one is obviously the cost makes it a lot more affordable to a lot of kayak anglers, but it also has what's called their glide skin technology incorporated around the neck and also around the wrists. And this is a non-latex material which forms a watertight seal, which is supposed to be more comfortable and more durable. Now, one of the biggest complaints I saw about this dry suit was that, number one, it's not as breathable. So a lot of people said it was a little bit hotter than some other ones. But if you're fishing in the middle of the winter, primarily you just need a budget dry suit to get you through a few trips that you go out in the winter. Probably not as big an issue, but it does not have a relief zipper, which is kind of a big deal because you'd have to remove your dry suit or go on shore in order to use the restroom. But at $400, it's hard to beat. And is going to protect you if you're out there on the water and happen to go in. So the last one I want to talk about is one that very much intrigues me. It's called the Ocean Rodeo Ignite. This is actually a hybrid storm weather gear / dry suit. It's very intriguing to me. It is the most expensive at $1,100. It's also rear entry, but it seems like it has a zipper that kind of comes down in the front and then goes up over the back, and you would be able to do it without the assistance of a friend. Whereas the other rear entry dry suits I've tried, you either have to rig something up on the car to clip it to and unzip and zip, or have a friend do it. Now this one has a neoprene wrist and neck gasket, so it should be very comfortable. It has a removable hood, which is really nice. And it also goes into this standby mode. You can actually zip down that front and just tuck it in and then just wear the jacket over the front. And so it's very much more just like if you're on shore and you don't want to have the neck gasket on while you're waiting for a break in the swell, or if you're done for the day and you don't want to have that neck gasket on and you don't want to take all your dry suit off, you can tuck that, take that neck gasket off, tuck it down inside and zip that thing up like a jacket, which is actually very cool. It comes with a waist belt as well to prevent any water from working its way down into your pants of your dry suit, and it does have waterproof socks. It has lots of reflective material all over, so it makes you a little bit more visible. I like that it's a bright color as well. It has a relief zipper, so when you're wearing it in full dry suit mode, you can still go to the restroom, which is very nice. It's breathable, and it has pockets on the outside and inside the waterproof jacket, which is really handy for storing, your fishing license and other things like your cell phone as well. It's reinforced at the knees and at the butt and also around the elbows. So it's a very versatile looking dry suit. Ocean Rodeo has a very good reputation, especially in the windsurfing industry. And that one also might be a look if you're looking for something that's a little bit less dry suit looking and a little bit more than just a jacket, pants, and waterproof boots. This is still a true dry suit that doesn't look like a dry suit and doesn't wear like a dry suit. If you guys have any questions about these dry suits, just let me know in the comments below. If you have another dry suit brand that you would recommend to my followers, be sure and put that in the comments below. I really appreciate that kind of feedback because we're all out there trying new products, all trying to be safe and come home from fishing every day to our family. And it's important that we make wise decisions in our purchases. I will put links to all the products that I mentioned below in the description. Feel free to click on those and check those out. And I'll see you next time out on the water. And just remember, fish smarter, not harder.